This is the third time I'm making this video. And they're pounding again. It's all happening at the same time, and I realized that in the first video I made, I was giving the fascists exactly what they want. I was responding way too angrily, and things I said could have been falsely mistaken as a threat, because we know they lie about us all the time, and any little tiny thing we give them could be twisted into something bad. I'm redoing this again. So, first and foremost, it's been a bad day. I got a call from the hospital where I have a test scheduled on Monday, saying that the insurance company hasn't approved the funding yet. So I have a choice: either cancel the test and move it out to a later date and hope that it's approved by then, or just go and show up and hope it's approved by then, and risk having to pay out of pocket if it's not. And I can't pay out of pocket because medical expenses are so insanely expensive in the US that unless you're filthy rich, you can't pay out of pocket. So yeah, that was happening. That happened this morning. But I wanted to talk about something else. So the Zersetzung style attacks are still happening, of course. They've been happening all along. But so a few days ago, what they did was, I keep my laptop computer locked up so that they don't fuck with it when they come in here illegally, right? And I know they do. But I took it out and I put it on my computer desk, and as soon as I did, I heard something fall and to the ground, and I looked down, and it was one of the screws from under the desk that holds the leg to the desk. Luckily, nothing fell. The desk didn't collapse. I mean, but that could have been bad. Like, it could have just, everything could have just fallen. It could have destroyed my computer. It could have, they did that on purpose. And these things tend to come in multiples. So in addition to that, I went to the kitchen and I was going to take a piece of fruit out of the refrigerator, which I had put in a few days prior. And I took the fruit out. It was a pear, and it was sliced. Someone sliced it. Someone took a knife and sliced through the top layer of the fruit. It was not that way when I put it in the fridge. So now that's a threat, and it's a violent threat. And the psychopaths at the top know exactly what they're doing. They understand human nature. They're not stupid. The lackeys they hire to work for them are fucking morons. Not an iota of common sense. But the psychopaths understand that human nature as it is, if you want peace, you don't wage war. And so what do? They wage war, right? They have their lackeys at the bottom continuously wage war and increase the pain more and more and more until the target has to shout. Like, if you don't want someone to scream, don't inflict pain on them. When they want you to scream, they will inflict pain on you. And they will increase it until you finally scream, so they can then condemn you for screaming. Right? And it's like targets of organized stalking. No, like, just because you go quiet and you stop talking doesn't mean the attack's going to stop. In fact, in the majority of cases, when the target goes quiet and becomes passive, the attacks get worse because they want you to respond. So the more you restrain yourself, the worse they're going to get, because they want you to lash out, and they want you to do it in public. So they can use that against you and then justify waging full-on war against not only you, but whatever group you're in that they're using as a scapegoat. The puppet masters who are controlling all of this know this. They're doing it for that purpose. Right? They want a negative response from people in their target group so they can stand back and say, see, we told you they were violent. We told you this, we told you that. So they're putting us in a situation where we have to fight back for our lives, where we're going to start swinging back, we're going to start showing anger given what they're doing to us. That way they can condemn us for those responses and use it to prove whatever horrible thing they want to prove against us. And further work the deranged barbarians at the bottom up against us. Because those barbarians they're using to attack us are not smart. They're stupid. Right? I assume they believe that by terrorizing people and fucking with people and destroying every aspect of their lives and threatening them and making violent threats, I assume they believe that they're going to calm the target down and make the target passive, which is idiotic to even think. Okay, that those actions instill anger in people. Those actions work people up. Those actions engage the fight or flight mentality, and we can't flee because they follow us everywhere. What do we have left to do but fight? You know, these are not actions that are going to create peace and calm and tranquility, and yeah, it is the complete opposite. And the lackey trash who are hired to actually do the work, they're too stupid to understand that. So they're going to continue attacking and attacking and attacking until they work the target up and the target, you know, it responds in the warranted negative way. And at some point, you know, people fight back. They have to. At some point, you have to fight back for your lives. And they want violence. The people at the top want violence. That the animals in human flesh at the bottom who are actually doing this and being baited against other people like this, they're too stupid to realize that by attacking people, at some point, they're going to get a return attack. They're stupid. I assume, right? But again, all this serves is the rulers at the top who want us all fighting each other and tearing each other apart, right? And at this point, it's not even just conservatives against liberals, right? Conservatives can attack conservatives that way. Liberals can attack liberals that way. Leftists can attack leftists that way. People can be turned against their own allies because they're too stupid to just stop for a moment and ask themselves what the hell they're doing. They're told to go after certain groups of people and to do things to certain people, but they don't know those people. They don't give those people a chance to respond or speak on their own behalf. They won't listen to their targets, so there's no due process. They can easily be turned against their own to destroy their own, little by little. Right? You can have a liberal tracking another liberal, someone that he or she claims to be an ally to. And yet, here's the mindless lackey going after this person because the mindless lackey ended up in a group of people who are being told to go and do these things to other people. And they don't know those people. They're just doing it without question. And the people at the top just sit back laughing as these idiots destroy their own, right? You can have a liberal, you know, humanitarian help a bunch of sick fucks assault, including sexually assault, another liberal, a woman, a trans person, right? If you're helping track someone, you're helping the psychopaths keep tabs on them wherever they go, so that they know wherever they are. They know when they're coming home, so these psychopaths can get in and out of their apartment to do things before they get home, okay? So whatever they do to their victim, their target, is the fault of everyone who helped track the target. Because it's those people, those lackeys, who are the reason that the psychopaths knew exactly where the target was at every moment. Okay, it's not just about coming into someone's apartment and doing sick shit like slicing fruit or taking apart their furniture so everything collapses. Luckily, my desk did not collapse, but that can happen. Or opening a window so that they know someone was there, right? That's sick. It's plenty sick. It's meant to destabilize someone. It's meant to take away their sense of safety, even in their home. It's meant to provoke them to violence, is what it's meant to do. That's not something that's going to create peace. You don't subdue people by putting them under constant stress, constant pressure, constant pain, constant demoralization. Initially, it might break them down, but at some point, they're going to start swinging back, especially when they have nothing left to lose. That creates war. The psychopaths at the top understand that. The stupid lackeys acting it out do not. What we need is an alliance, right, between conservatives and liberals and leftists and non-affiliated and whatever the case may be, right? We need an alliance where everyone stands together against this type of warfare. And the truth is, I don't actually give a damn who did this, who committed this recent, threat against me. I don't care which side they're on. They need to be stopped and they need to be held accountable for what they've done. We need to find out who they are. And we have to be careful with that because the level of deceit involved in this is like peeling back an onion, one layer after another of lies and deceit. It's so insidious. It's like one of those Russian dolls, where you just one after another, and you still haven't gotten to the core yet. Innocent people can be targeted as perpetrators. And so then you go after the innocent person thinking that he or she is a perpetrator. That's actually another target. So then you become the idiot lackeys who are attacking an innocent person. So we have to be careful. We have to make sure that the people that we identify as perpetrators actually are, and that they're not other targets being mistaken as perpetrators. It's hard, and it's meant to keep us all fighting each other and mistrusting each other, but we need to do something. At this point, the real threat to society, of course, the rulers at the top. They destroy us all and they rule over whoever's left. But also the people stupid enough to allow themselves to be manipulated into engaging in this type of warfare. They are a threat to humanity, okay? They are an enemy of the state. They're attacking American citizens on American soil. They're traitors to their own. I don't care what lies they were told. Fuck up. See, the pounding. As soon as I start making the video, they start pounding. I don't care what lies they were told that enabled the rulers to recruit them against certain people. You don't just believe whatever you hear. Okay, before you do anything, you find out who someone is. Are they guilty? Did they really do what they're being accused of doing? You don't just go along with a group against them. That's a vigilante mob. And where there is a vigilante mob, there is no due process. And they're as bad as the MAGAs at that point. Don't threaten me, ever. Because at some point the targets are going to fight back. And the truth is, we have to find out who exactly is doing this. And you know what? At this point, I would almost vote for any president, anyone who would allow us to fight back. Okay, someone comes into our apartment and threatens us in that way, leaves a little threat, leaves a little something to threaten us, to let us know that they're there, to terrorize us, to intimidate us. Let us fight back. Let us find out who they are, and when we find out who they are, let us take care of the matter. And I don't care what side they're on. I don't give a damn. I'll work with conservatives, if that's what it takes. We should all work together to stop anyone who engages in this type of warfare. Never fucking threaten me. Never threaten anyone. Who I'm involved with, friends, whatever. You come into someone's home and you start slashing things, that's a threat. What would, when it comes to the perpetrators, you now know, you probably didn't before because you're fucking morons, but you now know what the psychopaths at the top want from us. I have to look at the time because this is going to get too long. You know what they want from the targets. Now you do. You might not have before because you're idiots, but now you do. They want a negative, violent response, so that they can then use that response against the targets to not only destroy the target, but the entire group. See, we told you they were violent. So their intent is to push the target to the point where they can't hold back anymore, where they have to fight back. They have no choice. Okay? Now you understand that because you've watched this video, if you're a perpetrator and watching this video, okay? What would you do if they get tired of the targets being so passive and just sitting back and doing nothing? They decide to take it up a notch and actually tell the targets who did it. Who, what, when, where, why. What lie did they tell the perpetrators to get them to do it? How willingly did those people just jump right in there and do it without question? Who left the threat in my refrigerator? Who slashed the fruit with a knife as a threat? Do you think that's going to make a person passive? Oh, I guess I should just sit down and be quiet and maybe they'll go away. You proved you're not going to go away. I sit down and be quiet, you get worse. And that's a threat. You understand the response to that is not passive. You're creating a threat and then you're complaining that there's a threat. You have to be a moron. And the psychopaths who are running this are not morons. You are. If you're just a perpetrator who actually believes the bullshit lies you tell yourself to justify what you're doing. Stop it. Go public. Tell the world what you've done. Because what would you do if they just decided we're taking too long? What if they just decided? What if they do what the far right is doing? Because liberals won't fight back. So the far right pushes farther and farther and farther, making it impossible for people not to fight back. Right? What would you do if whoever hired you decides that the targets are just taking way too long to fight back? And so they increase the attacks while also telling the targets who you are. What would you do? You want to threaten me? Right back at you. If you're entering someone's home without their permission, you know you're doing something illegal. If you're making a violent threat, like slashing something, that's violence, that's a threat of violence, you know you're doing something illegal. You are doing something to provoke, not to silence, not to quiet, not to subdue, to provoke. To push the targets farther and farther to the edge. That is what you're doing. The psychos at the top are using you for that purpose, and possibly for, a social experiment to see how easy it is to get the rabble to just gather against an easy target or a group or to destroy someone. On command, and you do it. Doesn't take much, does it? Whether you're illegally coming into someone's apartment, which at that point you know you're doing something wrong, or whether you're just one of the foot perps, the lackeys, who track people and send that information to another source. You're helping terrorists, you're helping rapists, you're helping assaulters of all kinds, you're helping people who are actually violent and have wicked intent. Keep track of their target so that they can do really bad things to their target. You're helping them do that. I don't care what you were told. I don't care if you were told every bad, negative thing about the target. You don't know that person. Don't just believe what you were told, or you're nothing but a vigilante mob. Okay, and then when you see the target respond negatively, that's proof to you that he or she is bad, right? Because you don't even stop to comprehend that you're following him, you're fucking with him or her. You're just one little cog in this massive attack. Of course the person's going to respond negatively. How stupid does someone have to be to not see what they're doing? And see, now I'm getting insulting again, aren't I? As if that matters at this point. Look, we all need to get together, all of us, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of race, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. It doesn't matter at this point. We're all being turned against each other. The Zersetzung style warfare, the psyop type warfare, is one of the most insidious weapons that the enemy uses to get us attacking and destroying each other, including our own allies. Stop it. And go after anyone who engages in this warfare. To whoever came into my apartment and fucked with my computer desk and slashed the piece of fruit and drugged the water, the bottled water, yeah, that piece of fruit, your face.